The distress signal came in the dead of night, piercing through the usual static chatter of deep space communications. It wasn't the kind of signal anyone expected, a plea for help, encrypted in a way that only humans could decipher. The sender was the Xarathii, a notoriously isolationist and advanced alien race. For decades, humanity had only seen them from a distance, their sleek ships and biotechnological marvels far outstripping human ingenuity. The message was simple but desperate. Their queen was dying, and their own healers had failed to save her. Dr. Elena Carter, stationed on a barren human outpost at the edge of known space, was abruptly summoned. She was no stranger to emergencies, but this was unprecedented. The Xarathii had never sought assistance from humans, let alone admitted their own fallibility. As Elena prepared to board her aging ship, she couldn't ignore the irony. Humanity, seen as primitive and barbaric by most advanced species, was now the Xarathii's last hope. The journey to the Xarathii homeworld was tense. Even the message requesting her assistance reeked of disdain, as if humanity's help was a bitter pill the Xarathii had been forced to swallow. Elena reviewed what little information the Xarathii had shared about the Queen's condition, symptoms that didn't align with any known human illness. But she had seen her share of strange maladies on the far-flung colonies of humanity. What she lacked in sophisticated equipment, she made up for with grit and adaptability. As her ship approached the Xarathii planet, the stark contrast between their worlds became evident. The Xarathii cities shimmered like living organisms, their buildings pulsating with an eerie bioluminescence. Elena's battered vessel was dwarfed by the elegant, organic structures rising from the planet's surface. She docked in silence, greeted not by warmth but by suspicion. Xarathii healers, their translucent forms glowing faintly under the light of their sun, eyed her with a mix of disdain and desperation. The alien leader, a tall, sinewy figure named Xarathii, approached her with a stiffness that bordered on hostility. "You are the humans?" His voice was melodic, but laced with condescension. "Yes," Elena replied curtly, refusing to be intimidated. "Where's the patient?" The Xarathii led her through labyrinthine corridors, their organic walls pulsating as if alive. The Queen's chamber was vast, bathed in a soft, golden glow. The Queen herself lay on an elevated platform, her once majestic form diminished by illness. Her scales, which should have shimmered like liquid silver, were dull and mottled with blackened patches. Her breathing was shallow, her many limbs twitching weakly. Elena's gaze swept the room. Advanced medical devices hummed and glowed, yet the Xarathii healers looked utterly defeated. Xarathii gestured towards the Queen. "Fix her. If you can." Elena stepped forward, her mind racing. She was an outsider in every sense, on an alien world, facing alien anatomy, with alien expectations pressing down on her. But one thing was clear, this was a problem only human hands could solve. Elena stood in the center of the chamber, surrounded by skeptical eyes, her voice cutting through the tension. "We need to act now, or the infection will spread beyond saving. The only way to stop it is to remove the infected tissue." Gasps rippled through the room. Xarathii's voice was sharp, almost accusatory. "You propose mutilation? Barbarism." "It's surgery," Elena replied bluntly. "You can call it whatever you want, but it's the only way to save her. Your Queen's body can't fight this infection on its own, and your technology can't fix dead tissue." The Xarathii exchanged uneasy glances, their pride warring with their desperation. Elena could see the conflict in Xarathii's expression. They hated her suggestion, but they knew the truth. Their queen was slipping away. "Prepare your tools," Xarathii said finally, his tone heavy with reluctance. Elena wasted no time. She unpacked her kit, laying out tools that seemed almost laughable against the backdrop of the Xarathei's advanced medical devices. A handheld laser scalpel, antiseptics, and a few sterilized instruments, hardly impressive by human standards, let alone theirs. The Xarathii watched in stunned silence as she prepared, their disdain barely concealed. One healer muttered, "You would burn her flesh like a primitive butcher?" Elena didn't look up. "Yes. If it means saving her life." The queen's breathing had become labored, her body twitching sporadically. Elena focused on the largest patch of necrotic tissue, a blackened area spreading ominously across her thorax. She cleaned the surface meticulously, then adjusted the scalpel settings. "This is going to look brutal," she warned, glancing at Xarathii. "But it's necessary. You need to trust me." He gave a stiff nod, though his expression betrayed his unease. The first incision was precise, the laser scalpel cauterizing as it cut. Elena worked methodically, removing the dead tissue in controlled sections. The smell of burning flesh filled the air, causing several Xarathii healers to recoil in horror. One of them hissed, "This is madness." "It's medicine," Elena snapped, not pausing. "And it's working." Beneath the necrotic patches, the queen's underlying tissue was still alive, though barely. Elena treated the exposed areas with a potent antiseptic mixture, hoping it would halt any residual infection. She worked swiftly, her hands steady despite the high stakes and the alien stares drilling into her. As she finished the final excision, she stepped back, her gloves stained and her tools spent. The queen's body lay still, her breathing shallow but more stable than before. Elena cleaned the area thoroughly, applying a protective layer of biofilm she had improvised from her kit. The Xarathii were silent, their expressions unreadable. Finally, Xarathii spoke, his voice low. "And now we wait," Elena said. "Her body needs time to recover. If the infection doesn't return, she'll heal." "You've mutilated our queen," one healer said bitterly. "I saved her life," Elena countered. "Sometimes survival isn't elegant. It's messy, painful, and ugly. But it works." The room remained tense, but there was no denying the change in the queen's condition. Her breathing had stabilized, her color slightly improved. For the first time, there was a glimmer of hope. Elena packed up her tools, exhausted but resolute. She had done what she could. The rest was up to the queen, and the Xarathii's ability to accept that salvation sometimes comes in unexpected forms.